Jimmy Spithill's USA with port entry this time. The last race of the day, the opportunity for them to claw back a win, try to get some sort of foothold in this contest, because for all the improvements and the changes made, they are firmly on the back foot at this point. Then they go to the entry box. Let's bring in Christian Kapp, part of Artemis Racing, the Swedish team, out here on the Great Sound. He's out on the water for us. Christian, any take-homes from that previous race about how this one might unfold? What are you expecting to see?
I think this could be a tricky race, guys. There are more fluctuations in the breeze now. I think the lighter spots are getting bigger when they are here, so it'll be all about connecting the dots on the runs and the beats. So it should be a very, very interesting race from a tactical standpoint.
Both the helmsmen confirmed that, didn't they, in their post-race interviews, the shiftiness of the wind. Something they're going to have to be on red alert for. Trying to pick up those puffs, be in the right place at the right time.
As beautiful as this photography is, it is hard to pick up these shifts from the television. Certainly not on board the boats.
Race number 8 then of the America's Cup match, with the New Zealanders led by Peter Burling, leading by 5 points to 1.
Much more aggressive by both teams. Oracle tacked into a position they thought was going to be good. They couldn't accelerate, and all of a sudden Team New Zealand has Oracle in a really bad spot. Lured boat, Emirates Team New Zealand, they can go head to win. Oracle has to stay out of the way. Oracle is in a deep, deep, deep hole right now. 27 seconds to go, no penalty, so they deem that Oracle stayed out of the way. But if this is time and distance to the mark right now, to the starting line, which I think it easily is, New Zealand's gone. And you got to believe at this stage, this is almost a must-win race for Oracle.
Okay, go. Well, they're tearing away the Kiwis at this point. They have boxed in Jimmy Spithill and Oracle Team USA in the pre-start. And they have clear water in front of them. They have clear water behind them. Peter Burling's team are flying. Never mind the start time. That doesn't matter one little bit. It's just about your opponent. Where is he? Where can you pin him down? And where can you leave him for dead?
Oracle tacked. They really tried to get aggressive there with Burling. He tacked around, Jimmy Spithill did, and then couldn't accelerate. Emirates Team New Zealand did a radical turn, accelerated quicker, got into leeward, and holy smokes, just stuffed Oracle head to win and take off for a huge start win. Again, just can't afford it at this stage if you're Oracle Team USA. If you want to make this an event, it's not the way to do it.
Well, a master stroke from Peter Burling. 38 knots as they round mark 1 and head downwind for the first time in this race. The Americans are a long, long way back, and they are in big trouble at this point. 7-1 in starts for Peter Burling and Emirates Team New Zealand in the America's Cup match itself. That is not a statistic that anybody was predicting in advance of it.
Who'd have thunk that? I talked to some very smart people, and maybe Christian Kapp on the water was one of them, that everybody thought that that was still a potential major weakness of Peter Burling. I mean, you guys had, I wouldn't say you guys had your way with them on Artemis, Christian, during the semifinals, but certainly it was the strength of your program.
Yeah, I mean, I was just saying to a few of the boys the other day that we actually did bloody well. We lost one start in the 7 races we did, and you know, we did a good job. And right now, Burling is doing the same to Spithill, which is a surprise to many of us.
At least the American helmsman himself.
Still building it.
He will no doubt take personal responsibility, but he will be quietly simmering inside.
Well, time to make something happen. You're only 150, 175 meters behind right now. Certainly within passing passing the pass zone that we've talked about so much. But Ali, keep in mind, it's not 5-1. It's really 6-1 in wins, losses in this because of that deficit that Team New Zealand, the challenger, had to start with. 6 races to 1. Something's got to give, right? I mean, something's got to turn around. If Oracle, you can't just bury your head in the sand all along and say, hey, this is going to change, because nothing's changing right now.
Well, the Americans are splitting the course at the bottom gate. That's the first thing that's happening. But there'll be a lot of people, Ken, who will have caught sight of the contest in San Francisco 4 years ago, and they'll be sitting there wondering if there are familiar situations ongoing here, or whether this is a very different scenario we find ourselves in. I mean, the most fundamental scenario is surely that the Americans have had their time to go adapting and changing. They've had it now.
It's a pretty big, this might be a decent wind shift here to the left for the Americans to all of a sudden close this thing up pretty quickly. Bottom line is, let's not count them out, but.
Standing by. Actually, no log, no log. 3, 2, 1.
So a clean race from the Kiwis would put them within touching distance of the trophy. 160 meters between the two. Americans just gaining a little bit. They need a wind shift to help them out at this point. This is a replay of the pre-start sequence.
So Oracle starts leading back, and they decide, let's go slow here, wait, and we can see if we can trap these guys up to the high side, up to windward of them. They're trying to trap them up above to this side of Oracle, but Burling spins around on a dime, pops up on the foils, and all of a sudden zooms into leeward, and the next thing you know, Spittle's going to be head to wind. He's going to be going head to wind, and complete control by Burling. So I was really surprised, well, not surprised, nothing should be surprising us at this stage, at how quick the turn was and how radically effective the acceleration of Team New Zealand. They just turned it around on top of Oracle, and you know what, kind of the student teaching the master in its own way.
That was a master stroke, wasn't it, of match racing from Peter Burling. But this gap is not a big one.
No, and this is all on, right? All on right now. Tight match racing from Burling. Look at this, almost in unison, the two boats tacking. Coming out a little quicker on Oracle. That was interesting. They revved it up a little bit going into that tack, had more speed going into the tack, and actually came out a little more effective. So kind of a bit of the medicine of the Kiwis turned against them there.
A little high group here. Actually, hold that. Just transition here. Little light patch. Just not too low here. Just pressure related. Yeah, still inside the jib. Yeah, we just got to get through this. It's really slippery. That's fair on the jib. Okay. Stand by. This is it's going to be ugly, but we've got to go. 4, 3, 2, 1, touch and go. 3, 2, 1, 3. Here we go.
Fascinating. Listening to the tactical discussion between Tom Slingsby.
Try and build here.
It's going to be ugly, but we got to go, meaning we got to split. We got to do something here. And I'm kind of surprised because they were making some gains. Why they would have tapped off if they thought it was going to be lighter on this side of the race course.
Really good pressure here.
And this Team New Zealand goes with them right away. Look at that. They've been up 100% of the time in lightish breeze, using their Code 2 jibs, too. They're not even on their big jibs in this race. So it's amazing how it was less than a 100-meter lead just turned into 250 in a heartbeat.
So the Kiwis, yet again, a long way out in front now, and dictating the terms of the race. The Americans having to adapt their plans, their policies, just to change things up here and there to see what they can do to disrupt this Kiwi passage. And the Americans very, very tight to the boundary. They may well have gone into the boundary. They have. And they've now picked up a penalty as a result of that. And that is surely, Ken, an unforced error.
I think we're all very surprised at this stage. They got to burn off more boat lengths to get further behind. They were 50 meters behind not too long ago, and this is going to be in the hundreds.
Now, could that have been a software problem about where the boundary was exactly? How does that happen? I know they've got a lot on their minds right now, but that is a fairly basic error at that stage.
Trying to keep a boat going 30 knots while steering and adjusting the dagger boards with your hands on the throttles, and also, you know, catch a guy who's a few. Yeah, you're right. They got a lot on their mind right now, and clearly maybe a little too much, because that was definitely another one that they'd love to have back.
Yeah, what's your right height too?
Well, he was complaining yesterday, Jimmy Spithill. He thought the Kiwis had been handed some soft decisions by the umpiring system, but this one he's done all on his own.
It wasn't even close either. That's a good. That's on, you know, 3/4 of a boat length outside the boundary. Let's see if there's a little. They're going to need some wind strength. They're going to need a wind shift right now. 250 meters, which means once they turn that bottom mark, it'll be about 150 or so.
So the Americans have sailed some 400 meters further. Average speed is good.
Yeah, a little better speed. Even the Kiwis have even done one more maneuver.
Got light for a while.
And yet the only statistic that really matters
Mistakes.
is the one in your screen up there.
300 meters.
Saying 300 meters.
But mistakes. You start, what, 100 meters behind, and you go outside the boundary, and you get copped a penalty. Not good.
Yeah, I'm gonna just pick it all down quite a bit, so go to lay line. Yeah, feeling that lay, Lynn? Yep. Yep, getting softer here.
The mechanics of that wing going back and forth are fascinating to those of us who sail for a living, Ellie. It's a different world as to how these guys are trimming that foil above the deck. I think it gets very little of the accolades what Ashby does with that little X box. Glenn Ashby sitting there in the middle of the boat. He's got a box underneath. He's got no winches, no ropes to pull.
And the choreography is impressive as well, isn't it? Between them, when the maneuvers are made, everybody knows exactly what's happening, where they're going, how quickly they get there.
You can see the box in his hand there for a second. Yeah, it's just a different world. They've set the boat up completely different to every other boat in the fleet. You know, you asked earlier, what's different from San Francisco to now? I think anybody looking at this Cup cycle would say the most innovative boat is winning right now. We're in San Francisco. The most innovative boat early on in the event was not winning. The innovation went, you know, you leapfrogged the boat that might have been a tad more off the pace, and this is not the case this time around.
And what about the magnitude of what the Kiwis might end up doing here? I don't want to speak out of turn before anything has happened, but I heard it described the other day as David against Goliath in terms of funding and all that kind of thing, as we see the Americans performing arguably their worst maneuver of the race so far. Down to 10 knots only. Just loss of boat speed, catastrophic there from the Americans in terms of what they're trying to achieve here.
Camp's going in. We went camp. Yep. One. Here we go. Okay, settling here, guys. Big jib on. Copy. 23:24. Okay, 10 seconds. Stand by. Captain's right here, Coop. Go, boys. 4, 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1, made. Made.
What's your reading of it, Kenny? They don't look comfortable.
No, maybe you talk in sports about over-pressing. Feels a little over-pressed right now. Desperation time, especially in this race. Maybe not for the event yet, but it's you can see that coming.
Yeah, you got lift coming. Be a little high, just a touch high, but okay. Happy BMG now. Feels like we're there.
There's the drone shot, giving you a really good bird's eye view of the crisp activities of Emirates Team New Zealand. The tack effortlessly performed. Everybody in sync.
High is better.
And again, with the hulls out of the water 100% of the time, minimal communication verbally between the Kiwis.
Pretty happy just going fast now, a little faster. And take the right, go to the right hand layland.
I think what we just heard there might tell you the story of the Cup. We're really happy just going fast now.
Let's just go a little bit faster.
Yeah. Yeah, up 5 in.
La 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 la, this cruise, it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable.
Look at the distance now.
That obviously that mark rounding cost them dramatically on Oracle. Talking earlier about slaying the dragon. I mean, this is just an incredible look. Look at the spin. You know, one thing that's interesting, Ali, is there's no doubt as the Oracle boat made their foils maybe a little bit slipperier, a little bit thinner possibly. They're doing a very similar technique to Emirates Team New Zealand, and they're bearing off, gaining speed going into the tack, and then whipping it through the tack. So imitation is the key form of flattery or something like that, and there's no doubt that people have gone to school on how the Kiwis have been tacking their boat throughout this event.
So you see to the bottom right-hand side of your screen the green creeping up as the Kiwi cyclers get to work. And we spoke about that in the first race of the day, about their ability to replenish their fuel supply.
350 is the max number that we look at. That's where the system tops out. It actually has a bleeder valve that bleeds it off at 350. But the fact is that both teams have plenty of juice left right now, and it's because of these guys.
Final downwind leg for the New Zealanders, who know that they are close now, very, very close. Jimmy Spithill's got to pull several cats out of the bag.
3, 2, 1. One move. And made. Put your hands. Mike, clear. Rolling away, you're clear. Quick made, Bowler. Quick made.
Last second tack, last second split again. Let's go back out to Christian. This is desperation time. These guys talked about how shifty it was. You talked about how shifty it was out there, Christian, but I'm not so sure it's that shifty enough to make up for a 600-700 meter lead at this stage.
No, I agree, Ken. You guys mentioned it. Oracle are making too many mistakes. Bad decision at the bottom mark to go for the late jibe rounding, and that cost them another 200 meters on forced error on the boundary, stuff like that. The guys are actually sailing the boat really well. It was a lovely top mark rounding and a bear away, and they're doing good tacks, good jibes, but they're just making too many on forced errors, and they got to step it up.
Hard to argue with that assessment, but for this lot, history is beckoning. No doubt, the kind of characters that they are, they will not allow themselves to think too far ahead, but the rest of us can. That's part of the fun.
Yeah, so look above their heads up here. There's a little, it looks like on both shrouds, there's this little piece up there. Those are actually vibration dampening little devices. The shrouds themselves are cylindrical, and at these speeds, they develop a horrible humming noise, and it's actually a vibration. Those little, they're kind of asymmetric, maybe shaped, just little foils around, and that's all it needs. If you just put your hand on it, you can stop the vibration sometimes. So those, instead of putting your hand up and holding on and stopping the vibration, those little widgets are there to keep the thing from vibrating and maybe even breaking something. They can vibrate so violently.
They are cruising away at the moment. The New Zealanders, they have sailed an outstanding race right from the word go, right from that pre-start, when Peter Burling outfoxed Jimmy Spithill, trapped him into a corner, headed off into the blue, and he is seemingly not to be caught, not to be stopped. Down the runway he goes. This fearless team, this team that arrived here in the America's Cup match with very little baggage. Glenn Ashby, the only survivor, of course, on board Emirates Team New Zealand, who was present in San Francisco 4 years ago. They're out to right the wrongs, and they're doing everything in their power to make it happen. Making it look simple. That's the most impressive thing about it. 100% fly time, up on the foils for the entirety of the race, and the Kiwis hurtling across the finish line and hurtling into match point in the America's Cup. Their dream close to being a reality now. The trophy tantalizingly within their grasp. But the chickens, of course, won't be counted just yet.
Talk about almost the perfect race. That 100% fly time amidst all the pressure, just phenomenal.
Well, they've been here before. History tells us they have been here before. Cast your mind back to 2013 and the dramatic events of possibly the greatest comeback sport has ever seen. And that is what Jimmy Spithill will be clinging on to now. It's just about the only thing he can cling on to now.